How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to My Gardening Habit. I'm Rob Mayer, and today I'm going to be setting up my new heat mat. I got this from Nolt's Greenhouse Supply in Ephrata, PA. It's where I buy most of my bulk plastic products from. I did recently get set up with another greenhouse supply that I'm going to be trying out. It seems like some of their prices are a little bit higher on some of the plastic items, but they did have a different heat mat setup that I'm interested in checking out. Maybe next year I'll do a little review on both of them. But this one that I got from Nolt's, a little bit different than I was expecting exactly, and I haven't even unraveled it yet. But what it is a heat mat and a screen that they provide with it that hooks up to a temperature controller, so you can actually put a probe in the soil so that you can get your soil temperature up to desired, so you can get your temperature up to the desired level. And warmer soil is going to help seeds germinate a little bit better, so we'll be able to set that up. It's getting warmer out now, so I don't necessarily know if I even need it. I didn't actually use one with the bulk of my seed starting this year, but I want to get a couple more flats going, so we'll set this up and see how it goes. And again, maybe next year, a little bit when it's a little bit cooler, I'll get things started out a little bit earlier, and hopefully I'll set up two different mats and give them a try. This mat setup that I got, it costs $193. I believe it's 10 foot long, so I can put a lot of seeds on it. It's not just, for the everyday home use. Generally for a larger growing operation. I'm growing a lot more seeds than the average homeowner, so that's why I didn't opt for something smaller. But you can go on Amazon and look up heating mat, seed heating mat, or plant heating mat, whatever you want to search in there. A bunch of them will come up, and you can generally get a small 2 foot by 1 foot mat that doesn't have a temperature control on it. I don't know what it actually runs at. I have one in the house. I'm not really sure what it runs at. It feels to be like it's about 90 to 100 degrees, but you can get one of those, and you might pay anywhere from $12 to $40 depending on the size, but they're pretty cheap. Again, I was trying to get a much larger size, so that's why I went with this one. The screen on here is, I started touching on that and then I kind of went off. The screen on here, I believe, is set up so that if the mat gets damaged, the heating element will ground out to the screen and it'll end up tripping it offline. So, a little preventive measure. I know it doesn't look that pretty, but give it a try. So it seems that you want to start most seeds around 70 degrees, so that's what we're going to set it at. The nights here are still getting pretty cool. I've got a heater going in the greenhouse to keep it around 55, so if I get the mat set at 70, we should keep a steady temperature, at least for the seeds, for the soil. So this temperature controller seems pretty simple. You can see currently we're reading that the soil is 87.9 degrees Fahrenheit. The greenhouse has been pretty warm today. It's up around 90. Temperatures outside are around 70 at the moment, and at night we're still getting some really cold nights, still dipping down in the 30s and 40s. I've got heaters going in the greenhouse to keep the air temperature up, but usually we're going around, going lowest around 50 degrees. According to the directions, it sounds like most seeds want to be at about 70 degrees to germinate. So we're going to set this at 70 degrees. I already did set it, but you can see here how simple it is. If I just hit the set button on here, it will show me the set temperature. If I hold the button down until it flashes, which it's always flashing on your screen, then I can modify the temperature up and down, and then when I'm happy with it, I can just hit set one more time and we should be good to go. So seems pretty simple. So I changed the set temperature to 90 just to see it kick on, and it's definitely warming up already in just a couple seconds. As I was saying before, you can see you have the screen at the bottom, and I guess the idea is that if the mat itself becomes damaged, the current will flow from the mat to the screen back to this grounding wire, which runs back to the plug, and I'm assuming just trips the unit offline. So this unit doesn't necessarily look the prettiest. The one that I was talking about getting from the other greenhouse supply is a little bit smaller. This is a 10-foot. The other one I believe is 8-foot, and I think that this can be modified to what you want it to. I'm not going to. It looks like it's got professional heat shrink on here and everything, but I'm assuming with the right skills, you could cut it to size and just heat shrink it again. But I'm going to leave it 10 foot. Right now it's overhanging this beautiful table that I have here, and it's got about 3 foot hanging off the end. I don't necessarily need all that space right now. I may move the table down and add something in there, but I think for what I have left that I want to get started this year, 7 feet here should be fine. So I'm going to stick with that. The unit that I'm going to get next year is a little bit more professional looking. The whole thing is wrapped in a heat shrink like rubber coating. So that also costs about $200, and I think you're only getting about 8 foot out of it. Same width, but only about 8 foot length. So again, this is a little bit late in the season, but I'm planning on going a little overboard with my seed starting, so might as well give it a go, see how it did. As you can see, I've already got a bunch of stuff started here. I've got probably about 12 different varieties of tomatoes going. I think like 8 or 9 varieties of peppers, and got some other things, cabbages, onions, Brussels sprouts. So yeah, appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.